As these maybe get slightly more complicated here, and we have to go through and look at these, it doesn't matter what the equation looks like, how complicated it is, how many different things there are. We just take the bottom of the fraction instead of equal to 0. So we have x squared plus 6x plus 1 equals 0. Minus 1, sorry. Now, if you go and play around with this and try to factor it and try to do all sorts of different stuff, it's not going to work because this won't factor. All right, if you think about it, the signs would be different from the negative. You'd have factors of 1 that add to 6. The only factors of 1 are 1 and 1. All right, and if it's opposite signs, all right, different signs, it'd be positive 1 and negative 1, which is going to give you 0 every time. So that means we got to go back in our tank of knowledge, all right, to get the quadratic formula, which we'll always have access to. All right, it's negative b. I've got the thick pen instead of the normal one. Negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So sometimes these asymptotes could come out to be weird decimals. They could come out to be imaginary numbers, possibly. But we're just going through and looking here. All right, so a is 1. Remember, it's the number in front of the x squared. B is 6. C is negative 1. So it's negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 1 all over 2 times 1. All right, I'm going to take my calculator, which I actually have open. I'm going to quit out of that. I'm going to put what's under the radical, so 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 1. And off the screen a little bit. It's 40. So this is negative 6 plus or minus square root of 40 over 2. All right, I got to do some factoring. 40, and this is where again, we haven't done this in a little bit. So I'm going to take this off to the side like I like to do. Square root of 40. If I split that into factors, I'm going to get a 4 and a 10. All right, because 4 is a perfect square, which is going to give me 2 radical 10. So then this is going to break down into negative 6 plus or minus 2 radical 10 over 2. I can take a 2 out of all of these, and I'll end up with negative 3 plus or minus radical 10 equals x. And I could get those to the nearest hundredth or something if it wanted me to. This doesn't ask me for any of that. So we have to remember that when any kind of algebra class, things are going to stack on each other. So we did quadratic formula a month or so ago. So it's possible that quadratic formula weasels its way back in here, factored by grouping. Any of those things can find their way back into answering a question like this.